See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 1/2/25.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? We can typically replace them while you wait. Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? In many cases, we can have it back to you the next day. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, just south of Tractor Supply. The best place in town to take a leak.
Signworks, a business serving businesses since 1985. Everything from signs and banners, vehicles and boats, magnetic and real estate signs, contractor signs, and much more. Signworks can do large format, full color printing too. Signworks, a real professional in the business world. Call Signworks at 785-8899. Signworks, 850-785-8899.
If I could be you.
And you could be me?
For just 1 hour.
If you could find a way.
To get inside
each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Port St. Joe. The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air. Panama City.
How are you not freaking out right now? Listen to the last drop of flavor.
The Underdogs are here. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Northwest Florida. You are now riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm AG, your host for today. Dave is out. He's dealing with some mechanical issues, so wishing him all the best because I think everybody knows what that's like. Caveman Rick is joining me as well. He's on the ones and the twos. At 4:20, we will jump on the bandwagon. Banji Bamadella with the Panama City News Herald will be joining us. Did we lose us?
No, we're here.
Okay, all right, good. He'll be joining us at 4:20. We're going to obviously cover some Bay County sports. Also get his take on the college football playoff as well as maybe some NFL action. I'd like to see his opinion on the Kirk Cousins' demise and maybe the rise of Michael Penix. Do you see what I did there? Little rise of the Penix. So we got a lot on tap for today. At 5 o'clock, Morgan Hilliard, our Texas A&M pundit and Twitterverse expert, will be tuning in as well, or will be joining us as well. So make sure you stay tuned and make sure you can check us out. You can stream us live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Like and share the Facebook feed and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Download the app and register 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. So, Rick, obviously, with everything going on in the football world, baseball kind of gets put on the back burner, but it's hot stove.
It is.
It's hot stove right now. Heating up a bit today. We had some movement with some bigger names. Garrett Crochet, the starting pitcher for the Chicago White Sox, is on the move. He's headed over to Boston. Chicago. Jimmy, who tunes in every week with us, he's a big White Sox fan. So Jimmy's White Sox is in return. They're going to get a haul of prospects, including a couple that I'm really, really high on, including the young catcher Kyle Teal that they drafted 2 years ago, Braden Montgomery that the Red Sox drafted this past draft. And then we also have Wilkham and Gonzalez, and Chase Meadroth. So White Sox are really, really trying to put together a young nucleus to kind of build for the future, right? So the question with the White Sox has always been, well, you always seemingly are building, right? When is that ever going to come to fruition? This, I think, gets them in that, a step in that right direction, especially with Teal and Montgomery, and the other pieces that they've brought in as well. So I'm excited to see what the White Sox do this year with all that young talent. They might end up being the youngest team in baseball, but the Red Sox, man, they get a heck of a starter here.
Well, the thing about the Red Sox is they're standing around by kind of like idly, not doing what they should be doing as far as trying to, better the roster, make the team better. They're just kind of sitting, status quo.
Yeah, they've been standing pat a little bit. They've had a number of prospects that have been in their farm system for a while that everyone's just kind of questioned, what's going on with these guys, right? But the key for the Red Sox here is they didn't give up their top 3 prospects, that being Roman Anthony, who is the consensus overall number 1 right now, Marcelo Mayer, who was, I think, a number 2 overall draft pick for them, young shortstop, and then Christian Campbell, who they took in the 23 draft, who's another young shortstop. So them being able to keep those 3 as well as adding Crochet to that rotation, I think was massive. The thing with the Red Sox is are they going to have enough spots in their lineup for an aging Masataka Yoshida? Is Tristan Casas going to stay healthy? Jarren Duran, does he have a repeat of last year? Because he kind of had a coming out party for them, and it just shows that the Red Sox are trying to do what they can to keep up with the Joneses. I mean, when you have the Yankees lose out on the Juan Soto lottery, he goes to the New York Mets on a record deal. And now you have the Yankees saying, well, we lost our big bat. We're going to go get a big arm. And they get Atlanta's own Max Fried. And they get him locked up. And obviously the Yankees are in on a number of free agents as well. So it's nice to see the Red Sox kind of jumping into the fold and seeing if they can stay with the Yankees and the Orioles, of course, that are doing some things as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Cubs and Yankees right now. Supposedly they're the 2 teams that are battling it out for Kyle Tucker there in Houston. He's got 1 year left on his deal. Obviously, if you're the Cubs or the Yankees, you're looking for a sign and trade kind of deal, or trade and sign, I should say. I don't know that you want to give up the farm for Kyle Tucker, even though he is coming off an injury / down year last year, but he's arguably a top 10 player in baseball. But you don't want to give up too much for him in a short-term rental, right? I mean, we've seen what the Yankees gave up for Soto in a 1 year rental, and now he's gone, and they're out the, phenomenal pitchers that they gave up to San Diego. So maybe they learned from that. But it's interesting hot stove. I wish my Reds would put a couple ingredients there in that pot, but who knows what they're going to do.
Stay young, draft, develop a little bit, and then move some players. Does that sound about right?
Nah, man, it's knocking on walls is all they're doing, right? They're banging a tennis ball against a wall is all they've been doing. And it's frustrating because you have a generational talent, Nelly De La Cruz, who's young, under team control for another 5 years, and they're just kind of standing pat, right? I mean, they're banking on, some of their young prospects to stay healthy and be able to come up and help the team. But, man, they need some help, too. They need some veteran help in that lineup. So it's frustrating, but your Phillies got a nice reliever, Romano.
Let's see what happens in the bullpen. I don't think... Well, the bullpen is what we actually have to, revoke, and we have to, revamp. That all being said, our bats didn't come through when they needed to. So because of that, I'm kind of curious as to what, the plan's going to be here in the short term.
Well, I mean, obviously you've got... I can't hear... I couldn't hear myself, sorry.
Got it, okay.
But obviously you've got, you've got your key nucleus kind of wrapped up for the next few years. We've seen what that offense is capable of. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I was just like I said, I'm really just perplexed, the way the teams kind of went, the last little while, and just, what the plan's going to be, because, all right, so we went to the World Series a couple years ago. You've taken a couple steps backwards now, and so what are we going to do differently? You know what I'm saying? We're this powerhouse during the regular season, but what are we going to do to change things so that, come late in the season and come playoff time, we're not going to have the same kind of problems we've been having,
I think the number one thing for you all is health, right? Get the bullpen better, right? Get it back up to where it needs to be, and just stay healthy. I mean, Harper's been dealing with injuries last couple of years, and, he's not as young as he once was, obviously. Kyle Schwarber, same thing. I think Castellanos has been a good pickup for you guys. I know you were kind of a little shaky on him to start, but I think he's proven to be a good clubhouse guy as well as
no doubt,
a good solid bat in there. Trey Turner obviously has not performed, I think, to what we all expected him to.
Slow kind of start, but then the fans got behind him, and I think he got that boost, and he's doing all right. I just, like I said, it's just one of those kind of perplexing things where, you got a good roster, you had great success, a few years ago, but you can't change a whole lot, there's a lot of money invested, other than making a few tweaks here and there, like you said, with the bullpen. It's always been one of our biggest problems that we've had is the bullpen. For a while there, we thought we kind of had it figured out, and then it kind of comes up and kind of bites us in the rear again,
Yeah.
So, yeah, just like I said, I'm kind of just waiting to see if we can do something, make a big splash, something that makes a little noise. If we just kind of stay the same, status quo, then we just got to find a way to just, like I said, light a fire, man, motivate, get, some extra, towards the playoffs, maybe, don't peak so soon.
Well, and I think one of the big things is when you have a guy like Alec Boehm who was rumored to have been on the trading block, and then, Philadelphia ownership comes out and was like, no. Alec Boehm's not going anywhere. So I think that helps out, tremendously for other guys potentially, like free agents wanting to come over, knowing that core is still there.
I'd move Boehm if we can get something for him and find a better piece for third base. I'm down with it. I mean,
well,
he had a hot bat a lot of the season, hit a lot of doubles, but when it came time towards the end of the season in the clutch time, he just kind of faded a little bit. He, made some boneheaded plays out in the, in the infield, and it was just kind of like one of those things where, man, if he just had a little better piece there, what could have been different maybe?
Yeah, but I think the Phillies are also looking at it from the perspective of, okay, well, you got the Mets that are obviously making big moves. We're still yet to see what they're going to do with Pete Alonso. Are they going to try to re-sign him? Is he going to go elsewhere? You've always got the Atlanta Braves, which you can catch right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Them getting healthy with Acuna and Riley, and then can Olsen have a bounce back season? So they're always kind of right there in the mix as well. The Nationals, I think, are sneaky. They're very young, but they've got some good pieces. I think that's one of those teams that I think everybody needs to be on the lookout for in the next couple seasons. But I like the Phillies core, but I think you're right. I think there's a splash move out there. Maybe it's a Teo. Right? Maybe it's a Teoscar Hernandez that you go and get to put in the outfield. Who knows? We'll see.
We're not afraid to spend money. We know
100%.
So, I mean, as long as it's the right piece.
I wish the Reds would spend some
money. That's all I'm worried about. I just want them to, make a move, spend some money just to do it, and not really be the right move. Don't make a move if it's not the right move.
Gotcha. Well, the NFL's coming down the home stretch, right? Going into week 15. Obviously, we got fantasy football playoff implications going around. Some leagues are already in their playoffs. Other leagues are starting next week. But
the playoffs for our leagues here for the radio station actually start this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those have been whittled down, and that 16-teamer, man, I think I'm glad I missed that.
Hey,
did you see that some of the records?
I want to be in that, and I'll be in it next year because I'm top 4 in the league I'm in right now.
Yeah.
In ours, the Afternoon Underdogs. So, I can't wait till next season so I can be part of that.
There you go. Well, I wish you luck in that draft because looking at that draft board I was like a monkey doing a math
But see,
problem.
that's why I wanted, because it really will. It's a good measuring stick. If you can have success in a 16-team deep like fantasy league, that says something about you. Being able, because you're gonna have guys on your bench, on your roster, that you're not gonna obviously play unless you have to. That might only figure to get like 2.5 points, or something like that. So with that being said, and you're having to use these guys, you're gonna really have to utilize that roster, pick the best team that you can put out there. Because how many times when you have a 10-team league, you can put guys on the bench and not start certain players, and you can still finish the week with 130 points, or something like that, and still have a pretty good outing or a good showing. Whereas like in a 16-team league, you're probably lucky if you're breaking 120.
Yeah, 100%. If you're averaging 120, you're probably winning the league.
You're probably or you're doing pretty damn good.
Yeah. Well, again, NFL home stretch coming up. Your Eagles are a game behind the Detroit Lions right now for that number 1 seed.
I'm a fan of anybody the Lions are playing the rest of the year.
What if it's the Cowboys? Do they play the Cowboys?
Because they're not going to catch us, so I don't care. They can win those games. We're not in a race with them in the division for the seed. So because of that, let them win. I don't care. Let them win. Yeah, let them get a worse draft pick next year as well. On top of that,
you got the Chiefs over there getting the another lucky win, the doink for the division.
Right.
Eking out another win there.
When's it going to end?
Probably not this week, man. It's Jameis Winston in Cleveland. He's probably liable to throw 3 interceptions for touchdowns.
What, didn't he beat the Ravens? I mean,
yeah.
So I mean, like, there's potential there for a Jameis to go out there and have a game where he throws for 500 yards and actually wins the game.
Well, as Barrett would say, let Jameis cook, right?
I don't know about that, but pick 6 master.
Oh, man, yeah. And you kind of feel bad for the guy because he keeps going out there and he's doing it. And
I don't.
He gets him close, and then all of a sudden it's just like he goes into a post-game interview and he's like, Lord, just somebody help me with these because this is killing me. And and that's the thing. It's not just he's throwing, a bad interception here or there. It's like the worst interception imaginable in that current situation. And it always comes back to bite him. So
he is always in a pretty much a good mood. You never really see him like upset or mad.
Yep.
So I will say that about him, I guess. But what is that quote everybody always says? Ignorance is bliss.
Yep.
Whee!
Yeah. Well, Jimmy, who's tuning in, our White Sox fan, is also a Bills fan. The Lions are hosting his Bills this week. Of course, Josh Allen coming off that 6-touchdown performance. And I got a little grind to gear here. Right, just real quick, and we won't spend too much time on it, but...
Yeah, the gripe session was later, but...
the gripe session is later, yeah. We are going to have a gripe session later, but it absolutely slays me that all the pity parties that are thrown for Josh Allen when he has a 6-touchdown game and they lose to the Rams, who they never should have lost to, and yet Joe Burrow goes out every single week and puts up just phenomenal numbers. His offense looks good. He looks good doing it. And everybody just goes, oh, yeah, well, it's just Joe Burrow.
Yeah, well, you have to look at the record. That always says something.
Granted.
Too. The record always has a lot to do with it. And also, I mean, like you said, Joe Burrow's been doing it for a little while. I mean, granted, Josh Allen's been a pretty decent quarterback, too. But, him having that game was a pretty big deal. Them being in the lead, for their division. Mm-hmm. Like I said, all those things being said, I would think that's the reason why you get a little bit more attention, a little bit more love.
I don't know. He's always kind of gotten more love.
It's kind of like when you're, like Heisman voting. The players that are really great that are on teams that aren't doing so hot, they don't really get that love or that attention, or the attention.
Yeah, we're going to talk some Heisman with Banji as well.
You're on a winning team?
with some Morgan later on in the show as well. Obviously, a heated debate with Genty versus Hunter, and is Hunter's new nickname, and is I don't know if you already know it or not, but we'll reveal that coming up later. But yeah, it just kind of grinds my gears a little bit. But NFL or the NBA is still going right now. It's about a quarter of the way through the season. It looks like Cleveland, Boston, and the Oklahoma City Thunder are kind of separating themselves as the cream of the crop in the league right now. NBA has been kind of up and down. I think they're in the midst of the. I feel like they're in the midst of the in-season championship, right? Yeah. So, college football playoff matchups. We got those coming up, and you can check those out right here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Talking about basketball, isn't there some rumors about like LeBron wouldn't be traded to the Warriors?
I don't know. I
saw something like yesterday, or at least somebody threw something out there. So he gets his son
signed or drafted and then signed to a multi-year deal?
Well, I don't know if that was him
deuces.
Or if that was like somebody suggesting that possibly that happened, or, somebody possibly leaked it or whatnot. But, is it really fair, though, to, to trade him to a team that's, pretty good if he was to play with Steph Curry, and have that going on for him, too?
It's just title chasing.
Yeah, exactly, is what it would be, manipulating things to benefit your situation.
Yeah. Well, college football playoff matchups, they start Friday on December 20th, and IU at Notre Dame will kick us off there. Should be a really, really fun matchup. You've got a Notre Dame team that people are a little skeptical of. I feel like they have some flaws that IU can expose, but we also saw IU get exposed in Columbus at Ohio State earlier in the season. So I think that game should be fun. I like how it's a kind of an intrastate rival there. Growing up in Louisville, it's right across the river from Indiana, so I got a lot of folks that are still up there, obviously, so I've been touching base with them and kind of getting a temperature gauge on what's going on there. It's not ramped up yet because it's basketball season and basketball's king there, but there's a lot of press going on up there right now.
Yeah,
so,
some of the biggest noise it's had for like quite a while up around here.
100%. Especially with UK football being, bad and not playing in a bowl game. U of L football having a disappointing season, 8-4. So we'll see how that goes. But make sure you guys stay tuned for the next segment we have. We're going to jump on the Banj wagon. Banji Bombadella will join us by phone. And keep your radio dial tuned in to ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents the most college basketball.
Three-pointer, punch it in.
College basketball is back.
The Panhandle's destination for live play-by-play.
The SEC, ACC, and beyond.
Oh, we saw that coming, Rampant.
The biggest games play right here.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. The rest of the day clear and a temperature of 56 with wind 15 to 20 miles per hour out of the north-northwest. Clear skies tonight, a brisk wind and above freezing near 39. Sunny and 58 tomorrow. 66 and mostly sunshine with a gentle breeze Friday. Saturday, some sun and a temperature about the same at 71. This is your Wednesday's weather brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
Attention homeowners, are you dreaming of a backyard oasis? Look no further than S&R Fencing, your go-to destination for quality outdoor transformations. At S&R, they specialize in crafting custom fences, decks, retainer walls, and all exterior construction that not only enhances the beauty of your home, but also stands the test of time. Their experienced team takes pride in delivering top-notch craftsmanship with a personal touch. S&R Fencing, locally owned, licensed, and insured, and a member of the BBB.
Hi, this is Orlando Magic guard Jalen Suggs. Listen for select Orlando Magic games right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to my boy David Hayes and the Afternoon Underdogs.
And we are back in the doghouse. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe, and we are your home for Auburn Tiger basketball. Will not have the game going this weekend on Saturday for Auburn, as we will be covering one of the greatest football traditions of all time, Army-Navy. So make sure you tune in for that game right here on ESPN Northwest Florida on Saturday. But as right now, we have Mr. Banji Bombadella with the Panama City News Herald. How are we doing today, Banji?
I'm doing good. How you doing today?
We're doing well, brother. Happy to have you aboard, man. So, Banji, I've just following you on Twitter, also on the Panama City News Herald. I know that you're traveling around. You're checking out some of the local hoops. Give me kind of a quick recap about what's going on in Bay County on the hoops side of things.
Well, I definitely have to start over there at the beach with Arnold. Arnold's boys basketball. They are 6-1 on the season, a program best start. And last night they defeated Rutherford for the first time since 2009.
Wow!
So 15 years in the making. And their Coach Wolf, he's in his second season with Arnold, and he was telling me how it's going to be a multi-year, process. Kind of like trust the process that the Sixers have. But, already 6-1 to start the season, I was like, Coach, you're kind of already a couple of steps ahead in the process. He's like, we know, but once it comes to January, that's when the wins are going to matter most, once we get towards that district playoffs and all that kind of thing. So I was like, okay, I get it. But, yeah, Arnold boys basketball, they're definitely on the rise. And, I mean, it was a close game with Rutherford, and, hats off to what Coach Ross is doing, because he has a young team. He graduated 9 seniors last season, so they're also going to definitely be in the mix.
Nice. So Arnold doing some wonderful things in all sports over there. Makes you wonder if there's a Athletic Director of the Year award, because I feel like the Arnold Athletic Director would be up for that if that exists, because they've had a revitalization in not only football, but men's baseball has gotten a couple draft picks.
Soccer, man, they're awesome.
Yeah, soccer. Obviously soccer last year they were number 1 in the state, and then you have soccer doing really well this year, boys soccer I should say, and then baseball having 2 big time signees going to Florida, and they're in Gainesville. So man, that's exciting stuff going on over there at Arnold.
Yeah, you could argue this might be the golden age of Arnold athletics right here, because they also had 11 total athletes sign this signing period. So wow. I think that's more than. I think that might be more than all the schools combined.
You listen to that, Coach Hill?
And, and you're talking about the soccer team who are state champions. Also, Max Prep's number 1. Then you also have the football team having the second best record in the county. And then now this basketball team, there's a lot of good things happening over there at Arnold right now.
Yeah, heads are being held up high over there at Arnold on the beach. What else we got going on in high school boys basketball and girls basketball?
Well, definitely in girls basketball, we have the Rutherford Lady Rams. They're getting that resurgence back, because they participated in the Thanksgiving tournament that was over there at North Bay Haven, and they took some defeats where it was just like they're a young squad, similar to the boys team. They're a young squad. They're trying to get things together, but this should be fine. And they're also going to be a team to watch for the district title, because they're going to be going for their 5th straight district championship. So, I mean, that's always something. Coach Davis over there, he does an amazing job with them. But I would also say North Bay Haven girls, I believe they've only played 2 games so far this season, but they're 2-0. They have a stud in Florida State softball commit, Kaylee Goodpaster.
There you go.
And, I mean, a bunch of the softball players are also playing basketball, so they're giving it their all. They're probably going to definitely be a force to watch this season, because Goodpaster was injured all last year. She's now healthy again, so they're going to definitely be a force for girls basketball.
Nice. Love to hear that. Anything else in the world of basketball over there? Bay High or Mosley? Anything like that? Anything happening?
Yeah, I would say with the Bay High under the new head coach Coach Memon, he's doing a good job with them. But it's one of those things where it's a process in that first year. Also with Mosley, with Eli McFadden as their star player, they're trying to figure things out. Also along with Bozeman, it's a lot of these when players graduate, but then also some players transfer in. There's going to be a lot of stuff in flux, especially early on in the season like we are right now. But what I'm excited about with Bay High, they're going to have a Christmas barn burner tournament or something like that, where I believe 8 teams are going to be competing at Bay High the day after Christmas. So it's going to be something to see.
Oh, wow. So are these just Bay County teams or Northwest Florida teams, or are they coming from everywhere?
I believe it's Bay County and Northwest Florida, because I know Escambia is going to be there, Walton, those kind of schools. But then there's also a East Side. I don't know which East Side of what state, but it's going to be a lot of teams there. So it's going to be fun to see how they do. And I love what these coaches are doing, especially this season, where they love the fact that they're introducing the out-of-state teams. I like seeing, there's a Dauphin here, or there's even a South Cobb. My high school alma mater came down to play in the tournament over there in North Haven. I was like, really? But, hey, it's something that, I love the expansion, the new competition and everything like that. It's good for the sport.
Oh, 100%. Anytime you can get your kids exposed to, athletes from all across the country, it can only better them, right? I mean, it's one thing to say, well, I played Rick or I played Banji every single day in basketball. I know what to expect. I know how I stack up against you two. Now you bring in another person or another team in this instance, and you kind of see how you're stacking up, not just against your own, quote unquote level of competition, but you're also seeing how you're doing against the rest of the state and potentially other states too. So it's got to be exciting for those kids, especially coming off of Christmas. So if you guys are out there and you're done returning all of your Christmas gifts that you didn't like on the 26th, make sure you get over there to Bay High and check out the barn burner over there. And obviously you follow the Panama City News Herald and Banji Bombadilla for more details. I'm sure he can get you some information, and they'll have it posted on their website as well. The high school soccer world, how are we sitting over there? Arnold still doing their thing?
Yeah, Arnold is still doing their thing. They actually play a stretch. They'll play on Friday, and then they'll also play on Saturday. I think that game on Saturday will be at Mosley. But soccer is kind of. I guess I could give more information about girls soccer because they've been more active with their schedule. Boys soccer, it's kind of maybe once or twice in a week. But I would say Emily Rollins of Bay High, Bay girls soccer. I believe they played Bozeman. I believe. Not 2 days ago, actually, yesterday. And she had 5 goals. It was a 9-1 victory, and she had 5 goals. She has 18 goals in 8 games. So it's one of those things where she's probably on pace. I believe she might be on pace for 30, 35, maybe even 40 goals this season. So she's definitely one. She signed to Eckerd College earlier this semester. So, I mean, she's definitely on a tear right now and I don't know what the record is in Bay County, but I feel like she could definitely break it.
Nice. Love to hear that. Anytime we have some young athletes taking that next step and taking their talents onto, bigger and better things, we're all for it. And then Dave, our host here, he does a really, really good job of, not just reaching out to, folks like yourself, but, some of these coaches and getting them on the air and also getting the student athletes on the air. And that's something that we're really proud of.
Breaking news.
Yeah, what you got?
Looks like I just got an alert on my phone that Bill Belichick is finalizing the deal to become the next head coach of UNC.
Wow. So Bill Belichick takes some time off from the NFL, does some podcasts and everything else with the Mannings and Manningcast, and I think he was even doing some NFL Network stuff as well.
Yeah.
So now he's going to the University of North Carolina there and going to be coaching some college kids.
Powder blue isn't his color, man.
I don't know. People were saying that he's going to have a tough time recruiting, but I mean, he's done well for himself in terms of his young girlfriends, right? I mean, he's done pretty well that way.
Money usually helps.
Right, 100%, 100%. But it just makes me wonder if, like Andrew Luck going to Stanford as the quote-unquote GM, right? It makes me wonder if maybe that's the road that we're gearing toward across the country. And I feel like that's something that maybe Bill Belichick would absolutely not just want, but would love to have, is someone to kind of take over, that monster. And not only in terms of recruiting, but in terms of NIL deals, transfer portal.
Well, yeah, he's not going to recruit, man. He's not going to travel. It's going to be like a CEO figurehead kind of a job where the underlings are going to do all the work, and he's just going to sit there, on his throne.
Makes me wonder if Matt Patricia's coming with him.
What's he going to do? Coach the offense?
Well, no, he'll probably bring his son in for that.
I'm being smart because of him doing that with a defensive-minded coach. But.
Well, I mean, good for North Carolina. You went from Mac Brown, who I questioned that move when he went there, and now you're going to Bill Belichick. And, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, with Louisville playing in the ACC, Braun versus Belichick, I think that would be fun just to see him on the other sideline.
Belichick, does he you revert back, become feral, go back to the Cleveland Brown days and that kind of record and winning, or I should say losing ways? Let's see what happens.
I don't know. I mean, maybe he goes and hires the Michigan guy, right? I mean, is he in jail yet? The Michigan guy?
Those Connor Stallions?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see. Because he's notorious for having those kind of moments up there in New England, right?
Yeah, videotaping, walkthroughs, and stuff like that. Deflating footballs.
Oh. So, Banshee, let me get your thoughts on this college football playoff. Did you feel like were there any snubs? Were there any seating issues with you?
Actually, no. My only thing is, and it's maybe because I loved watching him play this season, especially because, I mean, we're so close and all that, but why wasn't there any harder push for Miami? That's just me, maybe. I feel like everyone was all de facto of SMU or Alabama, but just any little support for Miami just wasn't there. And I'm just like, I get it, the loss to Syracuse. I get it, right? But I feel like there should have been more in place for Miami. But overall, I mean, I'm fine with everything with how it is. I find it funny how the FSU fans were tweeting at halftime about Georgia's quarterback Carson Beck going down and like, oh, this means Georgia's eliminated from the playoff, right? I'm like, y'all are bitter and y'all need to get over it. But I'm cool with it. It makes sense. What they have as their formula makes sense, I guess. But you can't. I wouldn't say these are the best 12 teams in college football. These are just the best 12 teams that fit the playoffs formula of whatever they have.
Yeah, and to go back to Miami here real quick, Miami, obviously they lost a couple games there, including Syracuse. I think they lost to Georgia Tech as well. Which of course Georgia Tech doesn't look as near as bad, with their performance against Georgia there, even though it was a loss. But when you look at the games that they barely won, I mean, there were 4 or 5 in a row there where there were not only just questionable plays, but there were questionable calls, and they were getting out by the skin of their teeth. So I felt like Miami was always kind of on that tightrope, and then Syracuse just kind of pushed them off there. And again, the Syracuse game, I believe they were up 17-0 in the first half, and allowed Syracuse to get right back in it and take the win there. So, just not able to get over the hump. So I feel like that's the reason why Miami wasn't even kind of in the discussion. But how did you feel about Arizona State and Boise State getting the byes? Do you feel like they should be getting the byes just because they won their conference, or do you feel like they should just be in the 12 and it should be seeded the 12 best teams?
No, I mean, since this is the first year of it, I'm okay with the conference champion getting the bye, but I don't. The whole Clemson winning the ACC but still being ranked 12, that's where I'm kind of also like, how did they figure that one out? But
well, with Clemson, that came about because of their overall ranking. I believe they were 16th in the overall rankings, which the lowest the lowest team to get into the playoff, lowest ranked team to get into the playoff would end up with that 12 spot, right? So them being 16th and the other 11 teams being ahead of them, that put them in that 12 despite the ACC championship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's a little method to the madness, but what my only thing is as much as I, admired, Boise State for what they did this season, and then obviously admiring Arizona State and what they've done. I mean, Arizona State went from to start the season, it was a 0.5% chance to, according to the ESPN FPI, to win the Big 12. 0.5%. And I don't know what the Vegas odds were, like the betting line, preseason for them to win the Big 12, but I can imagine it was probably like plus 25,000 or more. So for them to be able to do what they did and their first year in the Big 12 and get in there, I'm fine with them, getting one of the buys or whatever, but I feel like moving forward, there needs to be some tweaks in there because I don't feel like Ohio State should probably be outside of that top four. I mean, the Michigan loss is bad. Obviously, the Oregon loss was tough, but I still feel like they're probably one of the top four teams. And maybe I'm on an island on that. I don't know. But it's one of those situations where I feel like it's always going to be a work in progress with this 12 team. And my only hope is that they don't expand beyond 12.
It's already happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it kind of feel, especially in that bottom bracket, towards where like Indiana, Notre Dame, winner plays Georgia. I'm like, I feel like it's kind of, no offense to Notre Dame, but every year that they're in the playoff, I'm like, this is a waste of a team. Because every year it's been the same exact thing.
This ain't Manti Te'o's Notre Dame, buddy.
I get it, right? But it's just like this. Maybe they'll prove me wrong, but I don't know. I don't think they actually get past Indiana, but that's just me. But
there's a lot of talk out there, right? If you look at some of these supposed experts and pundits that are out there, there's a lot of back and forth between who wins this game. I feel like the spread is a little high for me. I think you hammer IU all day long because I believe it's at the starting line spread, I think, was 9.5, and I think you hammer IU all day long if that's at that point. But Banji, can we get you to stick around for another segment here, bud?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Well, on the other side of the break here, we'll get back with Banji Bombadella from the Panama City News Herald, and maybe we can get him to share with us some of his gripes as well.
ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Legend, go right ahead. Meet Bash from Boulder, Colorado.
You know what they say, ladies first, Legend. Go ahead. Hey, everything off your chest before I stop stunning about some lady bull crap and spit out whatever you got in your mouth.
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. The rest of the day, clear and a temperature of 56 with wind 15 to 20 miles per hour out of the north-northwest. Clear skies tonight, a brisk wind and above freezing near 39. Sunny and 58 tomorrow. 66 and mostly sunshine with a gentle breeze Friday. Saturday, some sun and a temperature about the same at 71. This is your Wednesday's weather brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
Hello, this is Rick Vossen with RV of Panama City, your local Stormore portable building dealer, located at 2241 East Baldwin Road. Shopping for a garage, portable building, cabin? We build them anywhere from 8 to 16 foot wide, 10 feet to 60 feet long. We can do insulation, electricity, transom dormers, thermal windows. Come, let's customize a building together. Rick Vossen, Stormore Portable Building Dealer, Panama City.
Who was hired? Who was fired? Trades, drafts, and playoffs. We're talking about it.
That trade, when it was made, was the right trade.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, right here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
You are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm AG along with K-Man Rick. And on the phone right now with us again is the Panama City News Herald's own Banji Bombadella. Banji, we're coming back and going to be doing a little bit of what we call a gripe session here, okay? Mm-hmm. So the first question I have to pose to you and Rick, and then I'll give my take on it. Players should be allowed to transfer from their respective schools after the bowl season, like only should be allowed to transfer after the bowl season. Rick, you got a thought?
Yeah, I would say after the bowl season, yes. After the bowl season, that's the time, like I think that there's going to be player movement. That's when you want it to be done. After the season's over, that way there's plenty of time between then until the start of the next season, spring ball, all that kind of stuff. So I would say, yeah.
Banji?
I would agree, but I mean, there are, certain circumstances, like if a coach gets fired mid-season, I feel like a player should be allowed. But I guess the whole thing of like the UNLV, debacle of them entering the transfer portal 3 games into the season, yeah, we can't be having that. So yeah, I definitely agree that after bowl season, yes, they should be able to transfer.
Hey, here's my take on it, right? I feel like they should be allowed to transfer if the coach gets fired, because again, most of the time they're not going to a school to play for that school. They're going to either play for a coach or they're going to play for money, right? More often than not, it's money. And with that being said, I feel like it should be after the bowl season, because I feel like these NIL deals that a lot of these kids are signing nowadays the contract should read something to the effect of the entire full season, including a bowl. Now, if your team wasn't good enough to make it to a bowl, go ahead. But where does that leave the other schools that are still fighting for a bowl game or a potential college football playoff, where they're not able to jump back into that pool and take visits and all that other stuff? But I feel like there should be some semblance of loyalty from the players. I mean, the players have gotten what they've asked for in the last few years, right? They've all asked for NIL money to be able to go wherever they want to go. Okay, well, we've acquiesced. You've gotten what you want. Now let the schools get what they want as well, right? Which would be, we recruited you here for the full season. The season's not over yet, and you're already abandoning ship. Now, I will say one caveat to that is if, you're a potential, NFL prospect and you don't want to risk yourself getting hurt in the bowl game and you're just going to sit out of the bowl game, I'm perfectly fine with that. But if you're on the team and you're healthy and you're not eligible for the draft, you should be playing.
How do you feel about the bowl game, though, if they're getting paid? I mean, like, if you're getting paid to be there, right, shouldn't you be required to play in the bowl game, whether or not you're planning on going in the draft or not, because that does showcase the school? You know what I'm saying? And you're playing for the school. Yeah. The school's paying you that wage, that sum of money, and as part of that, you're supposed to, go out and, and show for the school.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And however, I feel like there's probably some insurance purposes and all that other stuff too, where that.
So with your check, buy you an insurance policy.
Yeah,
I mean, like if we had a job, it'd be the same thing. We have to have like a life insurance or something. I mean, like where do these guys not get off having to have the same responsibilities that we do in the working world? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Benji.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where I actually want to see like the breakdown of these deals, because is it like week to week, game by game? Is it like a game by game check, or is it one of those where it's like start of the season, we say maybe at the end of the regular season you'll get your full lump sum, or throughout the year? I just wanted to know, because I can understand not playing in a bowl game because besides winning that game, getting I know teams get rings sometimes and trophies and all that. Besides that, what is the ultimate? A bowl game seems like an exhibition game to me. So it's like, is there really? I wouldn't be mad at a player if they're like, you know what, the regular season's already over. I'm preparing for maybe next year. This bowl game, not for me. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But then again, bowl games, you have to get 6 wins, so it is a specialty game. So that's just my opinion. I don't know if anybody else really feels that way.
What if you were paying them, Manchi? How would you feel, though, if that was your money?
Yeah, okay, but what if I've been paying them for 10 weeks of the regular season? Another game is going to change it, Like, I don't
know. Some of those schools, that bowl game might only be one of the only opportunities they get a national primetime showcase kind of a game. You know what I mean? Some schools that don't get that kind of pub. They're West Coast, they're on late, or they're just like a directional type of school or what have you, and they just don't get the attention. They don't get the viewership. The big name games. They're not like on like Big Noon Saturday or anything like that.
I mean, very true. But then again, like if I'm a person paying for, let's say, a person who plays for Miami and they're playing in the Pop-Tart Bowl, I don't know how much,
Speaking of that, did you see what the what Verse and another FSU player did on the Rams roster when Kinchins came back in to the locker room? Did you see that on Twitter at all, Benji?
No, I did not.
So he comes back into the locker room after playing the Bills, and they stacked up a whole bunch of boxes of Pop-Tarts and put it in front of his locker. And I thought it was funny coming from FSU players when they had their worst season in probably 3 decades.
Yeah, and that's what it makes it. Because I've seen the tweets of, oh, you had a generational year from Cam Ward, and all you get is the Pop-Tart Bowl, and it's like, it sucks. To me, it sucks because it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah. Well, again, everybody has their own takes on college football playoff and who should go and who should be playing where. And like I said, I feel like it's going to be an evolution. It's going to be one of those things that keeps evolving as we move along. But I feel for like a guy like Cam Ward who had everything going for him the right way, and then they looked like they were going to be a shoe-in, and Syracuse happened. So okay, so moving on to the next gripe here. This is one that's a little bit more personal to me. If you were Bengals ownership, Rick and Benji Bomadella, and you saw your offense out there performing at this kind of level, what's your next move here? Like, are you sitting back watching this going, well, we'll be fine next year, or are you chomping at the bit to try to do what you can to, keep going, the way you're going offensively, as well as maybe try to bolster the defense?
Well, I would say your first, cause of action should be getting Jamar Chase his money. That should be your first cause of action. Anything else really doesn't matter to me. I mean, you see what Chase is doing this year. It's crazy. So that to me is the first thing you need to do. Mm-hmm. So, the defense. Yes, the defense is actually it's an all-time stinker right now with the defense. But get Jamar Chase down first, and then worry about that later.
Yeah, I would say same kind of thing. You got to take care of some of your key pieces. Make sure that they're locked up. You can hopefully because like I said, I don't know what the books are looking like for the Bengals, right? But you can hopefully draft some defense, right? And get maybe a few starters out of a draft. I mean, look at the Eagles. I don't want to use my team all the time, but going out and get like Cooper DeJean and like Quinyon Mitchell. And, you know, you got a couple guys that can start right off the rip. You know what I'm saying? They're actually contributing.
Yeah.
You guys probably need to try to do something like that to try to revamp that defense. You got the nucleus of the offense. Everything's kind of clicking right now. Hold that together and then, try to build through the draft.
Well, as a fan, here's my gripe on this, right? They've let a couple of key defensive pieces go the last couple of years, DJ Reader, Jesse Bates, with the under the guise of, well, we're going to re-sign T. Higgins, and then we're going to let these guys walk on defense so that, like DJ Reader, so that we can sign Jamar Chase. And then they still have yet to sign Jamar Chase. Obviously, Chase still has 2 more years left on his deal. But I feel like you could have gotten Jamar Chase a lot cheaper going into the season than you're going to be paying him at the end of this season.
The sooner you pay him, the cheaper it's going to be.
100%.
The longer you wait,
the salary cap goes up. And
somebody else is going to get paid, and then he's going to want to be the highest paid kind of guy, and you're going to have to top somebody else's number. And it's always cheaper in the long term to do the deal quicker and sooner.
But and to use your Eagles as an example here, Rick, there's people saying, well, you can't pay Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, this kind of money and expect, to have, an all-around, really, really good team. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see. The Eagles have paid Jalen Hurts. The Eagles have paid A.J. Brown. The Eagles have paid Devonta Smith. The Eagles have paid Saquon Barkley. And they've still got a great offensive line, and they've still got great defense going right now.
Drafting
and that's the thing, right?
You got to get these guys. You have to have a plan. The guys that are put in place a lot of these times, guys that are starring now, like on the defense, were guys that we picked up the last couple of years. You know, and you slowly bring them in. Guy like a Nakobe Dean. You got like Jalen Carter, producing already and stuff. But you got to have a plan, and also maybe do like what we're doing. Got a whole bunch of guys that played the college game together. So there's already familiarity there. There's already some cohesion. You know what I'm saying? There's already rapport with some of those guys. So it's easier for them to come in, get assimilated into the system. They already got help. They got, friendly faces and what have you. And the camaraderie is probably going to be a lot better that way as well.
Well, I can tell you the difference between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Cincinnati Bengals right now is that the Eagles probably have more than 5 people doing their scouting on as far as talent goes.
For sure.
But the Bengals only have 5, including their GM.
Well,
so it's pretty sad.
Yeah, it is.
But Banji, let me get your take on this, and then we'll move on to another thing that's probably closer to Rick's heart. Should your Falcons stick with Kirk Cousins, 0 touchdowns, 8 interceptions last 4 games, or go to Michael Penix?
Well, how do I remain calm and try not to lose my cool? Here's the thing, right? Because this has been a debate since early. This was a debate before we even drafted Penix, and it's been a debate since we drafted Penix. I looked at Kirk Cousins' contract, $100 million contract. He gets $90 million this year, by the way, and business-wise, it would be the worst business decision to bench him at this point, because we only have him again for next year, and then we could, we just get rid of him. But we have to stick with Kirk Cousins. It's one of those things is we know what he was when we got him. He's 8-8 Kirk. At max, he's a guy who will have you over 500. You'll win your division, but you'll get out in the first round of the playoffs. So I would, besides my other judgment, my better judgment would be, oh, no, forget it, bench him. But no, we're going to keep with him. We're going to stay with him. It might mean Raheem Morris might be out by the end of the year, though. That it might end up being that way. But right now, it's one of those things where it's like Falcons fans, we've been waiting. We are on I believe, 7-year drought since seeing the playoffs. So we need something. We thought Kirk Cousins was at minimum playoff division winner, but right now it's looking like we are heading down the table. So y'all go.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I would say that the front office needs to make a decision on what they're wanting to do. Okay, so the division so far this year is still winnable, right? The way that division is. If you're wanting to win the division and hopefully at least host a playoff game, okay, then you leave in Kirk Cousins because he's probably going to give you the best option to try to go out and win the division. Bringing a rookie quarterback that hasn't played yet and try to expect him to win the division for you, and win some games is, I think, a little bit asking too much. So if you want to win the division, go with Kirk Cousins. If you're cool with not winning the division to see what you have in Penix, right, it might be prudent to do that now. That way you got a few games this season to kind of see what you got going on. That way you can kind of get ready for this draft coming up and seeing what kind of moves that you need to make. So I think as the front office, they just kind of need to make the decision which kind of direction they want to go.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, I think you still have to go Kirk Cousins and just hope he gets it turned around because, like Rick said, there's still a chance for the playoffs. But, Banji, we do appreciate you joining us on Wednesday, as always, and make sure you guys are staying locked in there on the Panama City News Herald. Banji will take you all through all of Bay County there and keep you all well informed. And make sure you follow him on X as well, formerly known as Twitter. Great follow there with lots of information. Banji, we appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, coming up at 5 o'clock at the top of the hour, we will have Miss Morgan Hilliard here as our Texas A&M pundit, as well as the queen of the Twitterverse.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The Afternoon Underdogs.
Part of it's on Tim Tebow. Now, he was being demonstrative, and he didn't want to try to do anything else besides be a quarterback. He could have had a longer NFL career had he wanted to, cooperate with the other teams that had drafted him and that he was on the roster of. Yeah. And for a kind of guy that's supposed to be as humble as he is, how humble are we being, Tim Tebow, when we're too proud to step down from being a quarterback and maybe do something else to help out our team?
4 to 6 weekdays. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. The rest of the day, clear and a temperature of 56 with wind 15 to 20 miles per hour out of the north-northwest. Clear skies tonight, a brisk wind and above freezing near 39. Sunny and 58 tomorrow. 66 and mostly sunshine with a gentle breeze Friday. Saturday, some sun and a temperature about the same at 71. This is your Wednesday's weather brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hewitt Tire and Auto. Call 850-769-7323. Your certified AAA service center and hometown towing. Visit them online at HewittTire.com. On Airport Road in Panama City. 850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
Need a tow? Call Billy at Hometown Towing, 850-265-1562.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lunahaven. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
They're number one in the men's room.
I hope this place comes with toilet paper.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Oh, geez, this is going to be a photo finish.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back for hour number 2 right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. Again, we are your home for the Auburn Tigers basketball. The NFL plays here. This Saturday we have the Army-Navy game. Also, ESPN Northwest Florida Holland Hearts presents Holland Hearts Magic Express. Ride the Holland Hearts ESPN Northwest Florida Magic Express to watch the Magic play the Sacramento Kings Saturday, March 29th. Contest details will be coming soon. We will be sending a busload of sports fanatics to the Kia Center in Orlando for the ultimate road trip. Download the ESPN Northwest Florida app and keep listening for details. Again, that's the Orlando Magic versus the Sacramento Kings on Saturday, March 29th. 9th. I think we did that last year, and everybody had a phenomenal time. Orlando has been a newer partnership here with us at ESPN Northwest Florida, but it's been a very, very good one, and they're very, very responsive in everything that we try to do with them. But I'm AG, along with K-Man Rick, and joining us now is our very own Morgan Hilliard. How are we doing, Mo?
I'm doing so fantastic. How are you? Sorry, I was trying to get set up in my own little world over here.
No, that's all right. The lights are on?
The lights are on.
That's good. That's good.
Let's pray.
So let's jump into a little bit of the Twitterverse here, because it's been kind of hot here in the last, 3-4 days?
It has been all over the place. I can't even keep up with it.
What's piquing your interest right now?
Oh my gosh. $765 million contract deal for, what's homeboy's name?
Juan Soto.
Yes, thank you. I didn't want to be wrong. Thank you, Juan Soto. So what's really piquing a lot of people's interest is what you do at the age of 26. You either, supposedly, I guess, get a $765 million deal, or you shoot a United Healthcare CEO. Whichever you choose to do. But that's really like the two tipping points of sports meets this. Mm-hmm. Also, I thought Pat McAfee had a great tweet the other day. There is a account dedicated to recreating like vintage art and then pairing it with the sports world. And so like sports mimics history art.
Okay.
I thought that's really, I think that's a really fun thing. But it's a painting, an oil painting of Jesus healing the lame and the blind. And he compares it to Timothy Chalamet as a guest picker, and he's pointing at Pat, and it's those two images like side by side. And Pat McAfee was like, "Oh my God, I just got absolutely cooked, but what an honor to finally be featured on this account."
Fair enough. Fair enough. What else has got your blood boiling?
Joe Burrow's house got broken into. Would you like to speak about this?
Okay, so Joe Burrow plays Monday Night Football against Rick's arch rival, the Dallas Cowboys.
And my continuous heartbreak, yes.
Right, there in Dallas. Obviously, my Bengals come away victorious there. However, I believe it was Joe Burrow's birthday as well. Mm-hmm. And his mansion there in Ohio gets broken into.
So, I've had a lot of narratives about Joe Burrow, and even watching that game Monday night, I was like, oh my God, there's so many things happening. The Cowboys are absolutely going to sell, even though we were tied majority of the game. And I thought about you. I almost messaged you, and I was going to be like, how do we think this ends? I know it's not going to be the Cowboys for sure. And I was correct. So, my narrative hits again. Post game of that, right after it ended, because, they had that whole like little Simpsons game.
Yeah.
There was another Bengals player, and he shoves a donut in Burrow's face.
It was Jamar Chase.
Yes, and I was like, oh my gosh, my narrative hits again. He's so in the closet. But I guess it's not true, because his little side piece was at his house whenever his house got broken into. And upon arriving there, she called police, and she's the one who alerted police that the house had been broken into, glass smashed, all the things. Mm-hmm. But her being a Sports Illustrated model, and she's actually very beautiful, obviously, of course, she's a model. But the rumors about him being divorced, and then they just kind of went away, and nothing was
being divorced?
Joe,
he was married?
Preseason. Yeah, he was going to go through some sort of divorce.
I don't know anything about that.
It's also news to me, because I saw all of this, and I was like, I can't find anything to back this up, so I never spoke on it again, because I couldn't find anything. But something about his divorce being finalized, and then it just went away, and I was like, okay. But Olivia Ponton is her name.
Yeah.
Is the Sports Illustrated model. Anyway, she's the one who calls police. So I guess, I'm Joe Burrow. I'm so tough. I really run this league, yo. I'm so bad. Shiesty season. And I'm seeing a Sports Illustrated model. That's just kind of not fair at all.
Maybe that's why, they're playing pretty well, so it's not really him. I guess we'll say why the record's not so great.
Well, I mean, you go back and look at Tom Brady, right? That's Rick's favorite of all time, right? You look at Tom Brady. He had a baby with Bridget Moynihan, the famous actress, and then he married Gisele Bundchen. She's pretty famous. When you're in summer blockbusters, you're pretty famous.
He was in a couple movies, dude.
Rick's like okay,
he's always denigrating.
Nah, but I'm just still saying, man, like, come on, dude. Just because you were in a couple things doesn't mean you're a movie star. You're just like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, but then he marries Gisele Bundchen, and then he wins, a handful of Super Bowls and MVPs, and now he's partial owner of the NFL team.
Antonio Brown to stay
it
with
just
him.
kind of comes with the territory, I think. Right?
I don't know, because you could be Tom Brady and you can still get cheated on with the Pilates instructor. Is it really all that great? I mean, you can be the GOAT, the true definition of GOAT, still get cheated on.
Well, I mean, if you look back, Cobalt Cards, who you can check out on Whatnot as well, super good dude. He chimes in on YouTube and he says, this is just a string of burglaries and stuff that's been happening, with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce earlier. Tua Tagovailoa came out in his press conference today and he said he's going to have armed guards at his house and he wishes somebody would, right? I mean, I'm kind of nipping that little quote.
FAFO.
Can I be one of the guards? Because I have a lot of stress. I just need to get out.
Wow.
Am I allowed to
we have ranges here, right?
Well, my thing is, okay, you got all these high-profile athletes, right? They live in these, probably gated-type communities, or they got these, big properties and stuff. If you got all this money and you're not, securing your stuff and not having it, you know what I mean? I don't have any sympathy for you then at this point.
I think it comes with the gated community thing as you go into it with, obviously you make a buttload of money. You go into it with the expectation that you kind of don't have to worry about these things.
Nah, everybody does. If you make the money, you got to spend the money, man. And
Yeah, I get it. But there's also some sort of comfortability that comes with it being your home. But at the same time, I guess I do agree with you, Rick, because if it were me, I would put a lot of money into it. I would think that
because I have all this. This is something my grandfather told me. He might even be listening. So if you are listening, Grandpa, this one's for you, buddy. People want what you have, period. Okay? So if you have a lot, there's going to be people out there that want what you got. And if they can find a way to get it, they're going to try to get it. You know what I mean? And could it be an inside job? Could it be something that somebody knows? Could it have been this sports model chick that he knows? Could she have had a guy on the side and maybe gave him the access code, and then she comes in and, oh my gosh, the glass is broken. Oh my God, I'm going to call the cops.
I've been watching a lot of Dateline.
I thought I watched a lot of crime shows.
I don't watch any crime shows. This is just called common sense. And I mean, just think about it a little rationally. It doesn't have to be just some scumbag crook. It could be somebody that, kind of schmoozes their way in.
And honestly, this could be one group or one person that's doing this in all these homes.
Chiefsaholic, yo.
Right? Yeah. Right. He has an ankle monitor, right?
He's in jail. I was just using that for
I think he has an ankle monitor, right? Cobalt can answer that.
You would think he shouldn't have an ankle. Whoa. He's a threat risk. He was on the lam. He was running. So why give him an ankle bracelet? That's a guy you throw in the cell, man. You don't give him that opportunity. You know what I mean?
He's a flight risk, right?
Yeah, exactly right. Because he already was. You had to track him down and find his ass. Why are you going to give him an ankle bracelet?
Just like Diddy, you got to lock him up good. Can't let him go.
Put him in a dog
There's more coming out of that story there too this week. So
I have not had a chance, but I'm very well versed in it. There's just a lot of other things, and sports rank higher than that now.
You put Chiefsaholic in a dog kennel. He wanted to wear a wolf suit anyway.
There you go. What else we got in the world of the Twitterverse with Mo?
So many things. Do you want to do pick'ems later, or do you want to do pick'ems?
No, we'll do pick'ems later.
I do not care. Okay, great. Let's talk about Ohio State, because this is fantastic.
The Ohio State, right?
Yes, OHIO. Let's talk about Ohio State. First of all, there's a fantastic meme that was sent to me, and shout out to that person for sending it to me, because it was truly hilarious, and I wasn't expecting to receive it. But it's the meme of the person with the chains around their wrists, and they're breaking, and it says Ohio State is now free from noon kickoffs. And I thought that was great. They had 6 consecutive noon kickoffs this week. And 1 second, I am getting a phone call. Okay, sorry. So they're free from those, but
do they
also
know that you're on the air with us right now?
Do you know how many people actually text me while I'm on the air? That is why I always go into D&D while I'm here, because I will get phone calls, texts, all the things about random everyday life, and then also, oh my God, why are you not talking about this? Why are you not saying this? Okay, well, I would love to say those things, but also I've already prepped what I want to talk about. You're a little late. On the air is not the time.
Right.
So
Ohio State.
Okay, anyways, Ohio State. So anyways, did you see where there's a commissioner who wants to ban flag planting after what happened over the weekend?
Not just a commissioner. They're trying to make it a felony.
Yes, they want to make it, sorry, I have it written down. They want to make it a 5th-degree felony if you violate the law of planting a flag on the field after a game in the entire state of Ohio, especially, though, at Ohio Stadium.
That's as bad as like the Texas fans and like they want to flag people for doing the horns down.
You know
Like,
what?
You don't want somebody to plant the flag, win the damn game.
Yep.
You know?
That's how I feel about it.
Here's the thing. Or if you don't want to plant the flag, go to turf. Then try to stick the flag in the turf and good luck.
I feel like when Baker Mayfield did it, it was okay. And no one really batted an eye about it. But with all the field rushes and court rushes happening this season because everyone wants to feel included, there's some kind of weird, uneasy bias around that. And I don't think flag planting has ever been a big deal ever, but I guess when
Sure it has. That's how people used to claim land. They used to take...
That's not how I meant big deal.
And they used to stick their flag in the ground and say, this is our land now, yo.
That is
Get the hell
not
out.
how I meant big deal, Rick. But okay.
That's the biggest deal.
I think she meant in the sports world.
I feel you.
I just meant like there's no reason to like, be
Overruled,
upset
by
about
the way. Now that we're,
There you go, Judge Rick.
All right.
it. Okay, but I thought that was really crazy because why are we freaking out about it? But I guess with all of the court rushes and stuff, there's so many fines being given out. Why not add another one?
Well, my thing on the flag planting is this, right? If you're in a rivalry game and you're at home and you lose and you have enough energy to fight somebody for planting a flag on your field, you probably didn't leave it all out on the field. So either win the game and, have some pride, or suck it up, Buttercup. They're gonna plant their flag wherever they want to. You go on back to your locker room and go prepare. Like Ohio State. Ohio State has a lot more left to play for than Michigan does in that game. And then that's just in this instance, right?
Correct.
So Ohio State still has national championship hopes. Michigan at that point, gone, vanished, outdone. So at that point, are you really willing to risk further injury, further harm to your program to where maybe you don't have a viable chance to win a national championship because you got your butts kicked by your rival? Get over yourself, get back to the locker room, and go win your next game if there is one. I'm sorry that you lost.
Yes.
But if they're planting their flag on your field, get over it. Just like if Kentucky had gone into Louisville and they stomp on the bird after we get beat, so be it. We got beat. We didn't play well. Fortunately, this year we went in Lexington and we stomped them. But I digress.
Is there permission to approach the bench right now?
Yeah, have at it.
Okay,
All right.
great.
Word.
Sorry, I just had to play into our little bit now. I think if you're absolutely correct, if you do have enough energy to plant a flag, as hard as that is, and you still want to fight someone, I think you should be fighting whoever encouraged or had a say-so in your play calling and who you're losing. Maybe you should redirect that energy to where it actually matters and not the people who just kick the crap out of you.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right, so sustained?
Yeah.
Okay, sustained,
great.
yeah. What else we got there, Miss Mo?
So I don't know if anyone else saw this, but I thought this was really interesting, and I did a full deep dive into this topic because I could not believe this. Me personally, and this is just my standpoint, I thought Mississippi State has had some very creative things coming into this season. I thought they were trying to introduce something new, and everyone's trying to keep up with AI. Everyone's trying to keep up with their social media branding and all those things. And I really liked the way Mississippi State was going about these things. And I was
Real quick, Mississippi State, future home of Locavian Jackson, Low Jack from Mosley High.
okay. Shout out to him. I love that. I did not see that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Keep it local.
Yeah, he had other offers too, and he actually stayed true to his first team that he picked, which was Mississippi State. So
And you
good
don't
for
see
him.
that often in this new world of NIL.
No, it's
either.
called having some integrity right
Yeah,
there.
you know what? Hats off to you, my dude. Hats off. But I was really personally happy with the way Mississippi State creative team has gone about the way they present, and I like them. Are they Aggie baseball? Absolutely not. No one can beat Haley. Love that girl. I don't even know her, but I love her. Anyways, after National Signing Day last week, once the day concluded, they let go of their entire creative team, which is supposedly made up of 4 different people. There is one guy who moved his entire family to Stark Vegas to oversee this department, which is an entirely new department going into this season, and a few other parameters around that. I mean, they've always had a creative team, but not like this, apparently, is for what I gather. And 3 other people who were also all Mississippi State graduates and graduated recently. So they went into this and they started this new thing, and I am very pleased with what they put out. Obviously, I follow a lot of football accounts on my Twitter account, and I keep up with a lot of different media and things like that, just because where else am I going to get my filthy, sick, nasty narratives? So anyways, concluding National Signing Day, they did not post anything till about 10 to noon and then thereafter, but I imagine it's because they're trying to get their content together for what they did release, which was a brand new take and something I've never seen. But it was like a QR code, and it was interactive, and every player that actually signed with them got this QR code, and it turned into this like digital pop-out, and if you moved your phone, it moved with it, and it was something I've never seen before. Maybe it wasn't liked by a lot of people, but I thought it was just a cool take on something that's kind of repetitive, you know? So, conclusion, as soon as it's over, they've released all their media. They lay off the entire staff. They say, we don't want this anymore. We want creative, but we don't want whatever you're doing. And they lay them all off, and then they went back and edited from the day almost every single creative tweet that was posted from their account.
To me, it almost feels like it was one of those situations where maybe one of these people said, here's what we're going to do, and Mississippi State said, no, we don't want to go that route, and they said, well, you know, we're going to go ahead and overrule you, and we're going to do it ourselves, and then they just got let go because they probably did something that they were told not to. So, I don't know, but to me, that's what it sounds like.
So there was this like entire thread that I read, and I bookmarked it because I just thought it was so interesting. But in this thread, the guy who moved his family and oversees this creative team, XYZ, neither here nor there, but he said in his vent that there was no conversation leading up to this letting go. And I don't personally know if I believe that. I feel like there was some kind of inkling or some kind of conversation that was had about the direction Mississippi State wants to head in, and maybe they ignored that completely. Maybe they really were blindsided. I don't know. I just thought it was really crazy that after such a big event, we're going to do it right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's ever really a good time to fire anybody. Maybe a Friday is your best time, or maybe a Monday, not a Friday.
You know, if
Monday would be the best time to fire somebody, not a Friday, because Friday you're already off, right?
Yeah.
Most people.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to go in my weekend crashing out either.
There you go.
Yeah, I would rather be fired first thing Monday morning, but then I would be kind of upset, like, why did I put all this makeup on and put on all this pink and all these things just to go home?
Real quick, Cobalt's coming in on YouTube. He says, if you want to beat Ohio State in the playoffs, show up wearing maize and blue. So maybe we would get a Miles Lashley video or uniform change here with Tennessee, and they go in wearing some maize and blue. Tennessee going into the stadium, Ohio Stadium, and beating them with wearing maize and blue. You don't think?
I don't think the fans would be down with that either.
There was actually a Facebook post about this earlier this season that was like a fake post, if you will. I don't know how else to sum it up. It was like a fake post, but there was like a generated image of powder blue, the mace blue, that variation, a couple different images generating through Facebook about Tennessee possibly wearing these blue uniforms, and it did not receive very good feedback. I almost feel like it was a plant to see how people would take it, and let me tell you, Vol Twitter was not happy. They fell apart. I thought it was gorgeous because I love powder blue, but they did not.
So powder blue and pink.
Powder blue and pink. Hello?
Right.
Hello?
All right, well, when we get back, we're going to take a quick break here. When we get back, we will touch on a couple more of the Twitterverse topics with Morgan Hilliard, as well as get her take on some Texas A&M news.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your home for the NFL.
Touchdown, Denver!
We bring you the biggest games every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night.
Oh, he's got the first down!
Plus, we'll broadcast more college football games than ever before.
He did what?
Live NFL and college football play here.
Unbelievable!
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Wednesday. Clear tonight with a brisk wind at 8 miles per hour coming out of the north-northwest and temps near 39. Tomorrow morning we will have sunshine and a wind speed of 10 miles per hour and be warm at 52. Clear in the afternoon and evening and a high 58. Mostly sunshine Friday with a temp of 66. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627.
Experience a higher level of service. David Adamson Designer Jewelry has been providing you the very best of fine jewelry and repair in Lynn Haven for over 32 years. David has added Amber Anderson and Russ Clare, names you've known and trusted in PCB for years with your fine jewelry and watch needs. Find that one-of-a-kind engagement ring, that special anniversary gift, or something colorful just for you. Amber and Russ will find it or build it for you. Serving Bay County and beyond in Lynn Haven at the corner of Ohio Avenue and 9th. David Adamson Designer Jewelry.
God, guns, and wrestling. It's the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back to the Doghouse. You are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm AG along with Caveman Rick, and Miss Morgan Hilliard is staying with us here the last half of the hour. Morgan, there's a couple more things in the Twitterverse here. I know there's one that Rick just, I don't know if you were listening earlier, Rick just kind of came in and said that there was some breaking news that Mr. Bill Belichick is going to be the new head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels football program. I'm sure you have some thoughts on that.
Yes. First of all, can we address how he is 72 and his girlfriend is 24? And do you think that because of who she is, they have some kind of pull at UNC going forward with recruiting?
I don't know. Like, we talked about it a little bit on the show earlier. I feel like he's going to go the,
True.
Have an ambassador, like a GM, general manager kind of position underneath him that's going to be handling all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, it does speak to the point that, like, I think I brought it up earlier. I think it speaks to the point that, he still can converse and carry on with, people of that age, but he's going into, I think, some unfamiliar territory in his career. I mean, it's been a long, long time, probably 30 years since he's been in the college ranks. So
I don't think he has, because he, before the Patriots, he was the Jets head coach for like a day. And before that, it was the Browns, where he had a losing record. Mm-hmm. Before that, defensive coordinator, New York Giants, under Bill Parcells. The last time he was in college, was that when, was it Navy?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't go back that far on his
I would
history.
say that probably would have been like 70s or something, or early 80s, because he was there when the Giants won with Phil Simms. And stuff.
Actually,
Jeff
it was Hofstadter.
Well, but Phil Simms was the main guy, though. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? And they won 2 Super Bowls, so he's got, 8 Super Bowls, right? 6 with the Patriots and then 2 with the Giants. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
I can't imagine just being that age and wanting to still pursue a career in football. That's that part I can't really wrap my head around, but I'm glad you said the part about the GM and whatnot, because supposedly he approached UNC when UNC approached him. However that deal went down, who approached who, I'm not very sure on those details, but he supplied UNC with a 400-page document of how he expects this to go, what he wants from their program, just everything he wants, period, in 400 pages.
So basically, it's a list of his demands. This is like a hostage negotiation.
Yes,
I mean, does this shock you, though, that he would be that prepared and that needy in terms of what he's wanting?
No, it doesn't shock me. But, all right, UNC, good luck. See what he does. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't expect a whole lot.
So,
I don't expect him to win the
there's
ACC.
There's another parameter in this that kind of changes this as well as to what they do going forward, because not only do they have him now, and with whatever's in that contract, which I feel is probably true NFL style, and he probably had like a team of writers and lawyers
His
draft that up
agents,
for him.
yeah.
Of course he had a team draft that for him and what he expected and put it in legal verbiage, all that. But he wanted them to 5 times their NIL. Their NIL currently is somewhere around $4 million, and he told one of the pieces of this contract was, you raise this to $20 million.
So he's got to compete with everybody else out there.
Well, and the thing is you're looking at North Carolina, and who is their major sponsor there? Jordan, right? Nike and Jordan, they have quite a bit of money. They have quite a bit of pull. I would imagine it's probably doable.
You think Nike's funneling money to UNC? Because, I mean, they got Oregon.
Oh, 100%. I mean, Jordan went there. They wear the Jordan brand. They got the Jordan logo.
Stuff, yes.
Right.
And Jordan's his own thing. Yes, it's part of Nike, but I think the money's probably coming
There
from
might
like
be
Jordan
a
more
conflict of
than
interest
Nike.
there.
You know what I'm saying?
That actually might be a conflict of interest with Nike doing so many uniforms and stuff and having a contract already drafted. I don't know if that could actually ring true in legal world. Sorry, the gears are turning. Lights are definitely on. I don't know if that could actually happen unless it's something under the table, or Nike obviously has multiple organizations and outside affiliates that are branch out from them. It would have to be someone unrelated, but also somehow with Nike to make that possible. But is the boostage actually there? Of course, absolutely. I'm not surprised at all that they've raised their NIL to bring in anyone from the transfer portal or recruiting or anything like that. It's just the fact I don't know if Nike could be directly affiliated with being a booster.
Yeah. Well, not to mention UNC, like they're already a basketball school. They already got a lot of clout there, right?
Yes.
And they got a brand there. So you don't think a bunch of the money that they're bringing in is going to be spent on basketball?
Oh, for sure.
Football is like a secondary thing to them. Now they're probably hoping that football kind of takes a step up, kind of similar how like Alabama basketball has, you know, lately and stuff like that, where maybe you can be good at like a couple different sports now with one school. That's probably what they're hoping for, but I think he's asking for a lot.
I mean, if you want to be Texas A&M so bad, that's cool. We're in everything school. Just kidding. We kind of choke every time in our big 3, but that's okay. Speaking of basketball and all those fun things, I received one of the funniest texts I've gotten in a while, I think, over the weekend. On Sunday, I caught the Aggie men's basketball game with a friend, and we watched them play Texas Tech, and it was a very back and forth game of leading and who had the lead and, you know, fouls, all those things that go into it. And the score ended up being 76-7, Texas A&M. Had a great time, whatever, went home, and shortly after arriving home, I got a text from my friend, and they were like, okay, so I put that money on Texas A&M, and I was like, and I told you not to bet on it because it's going to hurt you emotionally. Not even your wallet, just emotionally, it is going to hurt you. And they're like, yeah, you were correct. I bet $25 just to make $45, and emotionally, it wasn't worth it. And then they sent another text, and they were like, also, being hurt this bad, how are you still alive? And all I could think of was like, this is the Aggie way, AGGY. It's the Aggie way. Get really excited and just cut it off after that.
Anything else in the Twitterverse before we go over to Texas A&M news?
I don't really have anything else from the Twitterverse. Not anything that I think is fantastic.
All right. Well, I noticed you eyeing something on the table over there.
Your wife's treats that I'm definitely stealing and taking some of them home with me because I want to eat them because I'm fat. Never beating fat allegations.
Yeah, so real quick, my wife has brought in some cookies and some fudge and all sorts of wonderful treats there. And make sure y'all go follow her at Bite Me Custom Cookies and Treats on Facebook as well as Instagram.
Yeah, I'm going to bite into one of those cookies later.
There you go. All right, so Texas A&M baseball news, right?
Yes, so before we dive into that, we actually have a comment from a girl I went to high school with and cheered with. Her name is Lexi. Her boyfriend has made it to not all the way, not her boyfriend either, her husband, and they just had a child, and so happy for them, elated. She said, so proud of you, miss you. I miss you as well, Lexi, and I hope all the best for you and your little family. Love that.
All right, awesome. Well, congrats to them.
They are fantastic. Anyways, let's jump in to A&M. So first of all, yes, Jace Lavalette. You know, I talked a couple weeks ago about getting to meet him in College Station. Stand-up guy, so handsome in person, just a really nice guy overall, and I think he's even better on the field, and that speaks a lot to his character because he is who he is. Lord Tubby reigns true. He has been the #1 overall draft pick since the last draft concluded, and, you know, people go to their respective teams, things re-rank, all of those wonderful things that happen post-draft. So he has been the #1 draft pick. As of last week, he fell to #2 to your boy, Ethan?
It's not my boy. It's Ethan Holiday. So it's Matt Holiday's son. His other son, Jackson, is now playing for the Baltimore Orioles. He will probably be the starting second baseman for Baltimore this upcoming season. To start the season, his younger brother, Ethan, is looking to be possibly the Nationals' #1 overall choice.
Gotcha.
So,
is your wife, Carla, she asked if he has a mustache?
No.
Jace Levelette. He does not have a mustache,
Okay.
unfortunately. If he had a mustache, it would have been game over. I would have asked him if we were married when he shook my hand.
So if the Nationals do draft him, then both of the Holiday kids will be in the D.C. area.
100%, right.
Kinda cool.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what I thought too. Was like, man, that'd be easy for Matt to follow, at least on their home games, right? They're, you know, not too far away from each other.
Yes, that is true. And also in the baseball world, Braden Montgomery, who went in the overall this past draft, he went to the Boston Red Sox, but he just got traded over to the White Sox today. And I find that very unfortunate. But there is some great news in all of this. He is going to reunite with our catcher, Jackson Appel.
Yep. Jackson Appel is also going to be behind Kyle Teal as well as Edgar Cuero there in the White Sox farm system. Cuero could be potentially seeing the big leagues this year. We'll see. But yeah, so Braden Montgomery in the 24 draft goes to Boston, and then he's part of the Garrett Crochet deal, as well as a number of other prospects as well. So
I still think he's going to be fantastic in whatever he does in the MLB, and I'm very excited for him. But I hope he's healed up from his injury pretty well. I'm sure he has, and I can't wait to see that. But I really hope the White Sox media team release some kind of footage of him and Appel officially getting to reunite on the field. I think that would be so beautiful. It would actually bring tears to my eyes. Whatever, in tears.
Okay, hey, no judgment here. Have at it.
I love A&M baseball. Baseball's my one true love. I remember,
I want to say it was maybe the year after the COVID season, Louisville made it to the playoffs, and they ended up going to Texas A&M and playing Texas A&M.
Probably in a regional.
It was a super regional. And there was a thing that you all did where it was, and it started to rattle our pitchers, where if we threw 4 balls in a row, you start counting.
Ball 5 chant mentioned.
Right. And then it just keeps going and going.
Yes. So if you throw 4 balls, obviously, and it doesn't matter if it's on one batter and moves to another batter. If it's 4 balls at any interval, they start chanting. And it's so fantastic. I've seen it referenced multiple times. And even whenever I'm watching games on TV, like even this past season, and you see the ball 5 chant start happening, it is so...
Have you seen this, Rick?
Enchanting.
I have not.
So,
you would love it.
So I will have to show you after show. Do not let me walk out of the studio without showing you a ball 5 chant. So anyways, you get to ball 5, and as soon as ball 5 goes into play, whether batters or changes or it's the same batter, you get the ball signal, and you also get the chant of ball 5, and it's the entire stadium.
Can't be the same batter, though. By the time you get there, it's on the next batter.
Yes, I know. I'm saying, like, if they have... Shut up. But,
overruled.
Well, I mean, yeah. So, but I think in that series there was one particular game where Louisville was pitching, and I think it got up to like ball 11 in a row at that point. I mean, like they were rattled. It was like Johnny Cueto dropping the ball on the mound against the Pirates, right?
It really does rattle people. Like when we played Oregon, and that same game when Braden Montgomery broke his ankle, and we saw it happen in real time. I mean, I was already in tears. But when we played Oregon and the ball 5 chant happened later in the game, it really does get into people's head. And then that pitcher went on to walk quite a few batters, and then he got taken out, and then the next pitcher came in and got to a ball 5 chant again, and you saw it repeat itself, and that is how we ended up winning that game, because we went into that 7th inning down. They had a lead on us, and I think it really does truly work. Also, Sierra, I love you so much. My wife, I love you. Thank you for watching.
No, and it's one of those things for me that, I love those little things that make up a home field advantage, right? And there's something to be said for people that are just throwing out garbage and chanting out nonsense. Yes. But when there's an actual purpose, there's a meaning behind it, I think it makes it all the more special. Duke basketball there, Cameron Indoor, they're not sitting down until the opposing team scores their first basket. Then they're doing the wave thing of the entire game.
I love that we got to talk about this because I wanted to talk about this a couple weeks ago. I think it was the last time me and you and Rick were on a show all together, but the way the conversation was flowing, I never got to it. And this was something I think A&M does very right. There's so much rich tradition there, but there's also field tradition as well. We have Kyle Field and we have power when we run in, which is something everyone really wanted to bring back after Jimbo because he got rid of it. We have not sitting down the entire game, and we have the Aggie Band. We have all these great things that go into Kyle Field, but baseball has its own thing as well. We have the Ball 5 chant, and we have the bubbles. Anytime a ball makes it out of the park in any sort of fashion, as long as it does count towards the score, everyone brings bubbles because you can't, NCAA rules, you can't have true noisemakers. So our fans bring bubbles and they release the bubbles, and it feels like Christmas to me seeing a home run and just watching all the bubbles fly over the field. There's actually a great meme in the Burnerverse after we beat Oregon, same game I was just talking about, and it's like this military guy and he looks really sad because he's at war and all this stuff is going on, and someone put an Oregon logo and then bubbles around him to show like they really got beaten out. Fantastic Schmeeb. Good pull.
I think that's one of those things that maybe when Dave gets back, we need to put him on, the best of in terms of what are the best home field advantage, like nuances, right? Like Philly, right? Philly, for example, the Phillies, they've got their thing, right? They've got the singing that they do after the game, but they've also got their kind of little shtick that they got going on. It's not just random yelling stuff. There's a purpose and a meaning behind it. The Braves have the chant, right? I mean, that's the chop. They've got that.
Chop off, by the way.
Chop off. Okay.
LSU has their band in neck. They play neck after certain plays. I can't remember exactly what it was, and they have a third down song that they play as well. FSU just got away from their original third down chant this year and went into a song.
Because there was too many of them.
Yeah, there was a lot going on there. A lot going on.
Well, and I think college football is alone in what they do in terms of, like going into fourth quarters as well. Like, Florida always plays Tom Petty. Right.
Wisconsin does jump around.
Wisconsin does jump around, and you've got Virginia Tech
is like Inner
Sandman when they come out on the field. Louisville kind of started their own kind of thing. It was going in the fourth quarter. They played Joker and the Thief, which is kind of really starting to catch fire there as well. So it's really cool to see those kinds of things. And if Alabama with Sweet Home Alabama,
Tennessee just changed up their fourth quarter song and video as well to Morgan Wallen's "The Way I Talk" to be more inclusive and stuff.
Changing stuff to me, I don't like that, man. You find something, you stick with it, man. Just to be like, hey, this is like, a little outdated. Let's try to bring in something new, a little bit more hip. And like, come on, man. Like a tradition's a tradition. It's the reason why you do that. And if you're not going to do that, then every year come out with something new and have that your tradition be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you just like change it up because, hey, this is a little tiresome. I mean... Yeah,
but the Steelers going into the fourth quarter, they play Renegade, right, which is a big thing for them. So
there's so many wonderful things, but you're never going to convince me that NFL is better than college football. You're just not. And my last Aggie point for the day is we did make our bowl game, and I know David asked me last week what it was going to be, and we are actually going to be in Vegas on the 27th at 9:30 p.m. Technically, that's when our kickoff.
A Vegas trip for Morgan Hilliard. That smells like trouble.
Tickets are only $101, like starting at $101. If I actually had the time off and the PTO, and I wasn't working Christmas Eve and day, I would definitely try to make this work because $100? Are you kidding me? Like the flight alone would just be worth it to go see that. So I'm really excited for that, especially because I had so many Miller Moss narratives anyways, and I wanted to see.
Do you know where he's going next year?
I don't know yet. I don't.
Probably Louisville.
Oh, are you so excited? You know
Not really.
I kind of liked him this season. I mean, I thought the beginning of his season started off very electric, but I mean, they ended 6-6. But I still really wanted to see good things for USC. So I was very excited when I saw that we were their their matchup, and we were getting to play in the Vegas Bowl. I will have so many terrible, awful things to say next week that aren't actually terrible, awful. They're going to be just a bunch of different narratives of things I've already had to play on this season, but, you know.
Gotcha. Well, just make sure you guys stay tuned for the last and final segment of the day. We will be making our NFL picks. Rick, I think you'll be making yours later on this week with Dave.
Yeah, she'll be on Friday.
All right. So make sure you guys stay tuned to ESPN Northwest Florida as Mo and I go over our NFL picks.
ESPN Northwest Florida is taking you on the ultimate road trip to see the Orlando Magic. It's the Hall and Hearts ESPN Northwest Florida Magic Express. You'll watch the game from a presidential suite loaded with free food and beverages. To win your trip on the Magic Express, download the ESPN Northwest Florida app and keep listening for more details. Sponsored by Hall and Hearts.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Wednesday. Clear tonight with a brisk wind at 8 miles per hour coming out of the north-northwest and temps near 39. Tomorrow morning we will have sunshine and a wind speed of 10 miles per hour and be warm at 52. Clear in the afternoon and evening and a high 58. Mostly sunshine Friday with a temp of 66. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hi, folks. It's Tracy from Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Santa called and he asked me to help everyone get ready for Christmas and avoid the stress and rush. So we've stocked the store and slashed the prices on all diamond jewelry. Whether you're looking for a certified diamond, wedding set, diamond stud earrings, or tennis bracelet, Tracy's Fine Jewelry has the best selection of diamond jewelry you'll find anywhere. And they're all on sale now at 30 to 50% off. From stocking stuffers to extra special surprises, shop where Santa shops. Tracy's Fine Jewelry inside Coin and Bullion Reserves.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? If competitive pricing and a quick turnaround are what matter to your business, come see us at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions. Or you can give us a call at 850-326-3000. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport. The best place in town to take a leak.
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man. It's the Afternoon Underdogs on the Sports Talk Monster.
You're gonna be mine! Woo!
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back for the final segment of the day. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. You're riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm AG along with K-Man Rick and Morgan Hilliard. Make sure you all stay tuned and listen to ESPN Northwest Florida throughout the week. We will have the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey from 11 to 1. The Coach James Hale Show will be back tomorrow morning between 7 and 9. Also, we are your home for the NFL, Auburn Tiger basketball, Orlando Magic basketball, and the Army-Navy game on Saturday. So, Morgan, let's get it kicked off here. Tomorrow night's game, big one in the division. I think probably one of these two teams, if they lose, they're probably out. You have the L.A. Rams at San Francisco. Who are we taking in this one?
Give me the Rams. Hands down, please give me the Rams.
Like the Rams on the road?
I like the Rams on the road. And, I was very impressed over the weekend while I was watching Aggie and BB. I was watching the Rams game as well, and I saw that tippy-toe ballerina inbounds catch right before he fell out of bounds. It was so beautiful. I couldn't have drawn it up any better. Anyone couldn't have drawn it up better. That's just great field knowledge, knowing where you are on the field and knowing how to adjust yourself while midair to make sure that play made it, which they needed at the time anyways. Give me the Rams on the road.
I think I'm kind of right there with you, too, just because LA seems to be playing their best ball right now, and I feel like they're one of those teams that if they are able to get into the playoffs, they could definitely make some noise with those offensive weapons. I mean, they took Buffalo's best shot.
They really did.
All right, Josh Allen had 6 touchdowns, and they weren't able to really run the ball outside of Josh Allen, so the Rams did their part in shutting them down that way. Obviously, the game was a shootout, but against a Bills defense that have been playing pretty well for the season, For them to put up the amount of points that they did, I think the Rams are looking and at least heading in the right direction. So I'm going to take the Rams here.
Let's go Rams on the road. Also, my friend Austin Strassner says, go Cowboys. We root for the same team, Strazzy, but we sell every time.
Yeah.
We sell. Continue.
Jimmy on YouTube says 49ers by 3, so he's taking the home team. There's an easy bet right there. The home team always gets 3 points.
That is an easy bet.
Kansas City Chiefs at the Cleveland Browns. This is a 1 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. Obviously, the Chiefs coming off another fortunate circumstance win there for them.
That field goal, the literal win by Boink.
Yep.
Are you kidding me? Give me, God, whatever is underneath their stadium, I just know they're sacrificing puppies. They are sacrificing puppies, goats, whatever. Give me the Chiefs on the road. I'm so sorry, Myles Garrett.
The Hunt sold their souls.
They really did.
You think so?
I don't know. I mean, you gotta start thinking that way if the way they're winning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's
on a long enough timeline, you can't keep this. It's not sustainable.
It is not. It is not. But, I hate to actively root against A&M legend Myles Garrett, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs because win by Boink is just, I can't unsee it. I can see it in my head.
I'm going to put my faith in Jameis Winston once, and it's going to be this game because I feel like Kansas City is just, they're always right there on the precipice of losing, and then something fortunate always happens to go their way. Mm-hmm. The ball bounces a certain way. The Raiders are getting ready to line up for a game-winning field goal, and the play before that, they botch the entire snap, and Kansas City ends up with the ball. You have the doink, the blocked field goal, the penalties, and all that other stuff. I think Jameis, the Lord's Prayer has been answered. I think Jameis gets it done this weekend against Kansas City.
If anyone deserves it, it's definitely Jameis because he has just he's just a funny guy. I love watching his interviews pregame, postgame while he's still on the field. There's actually like a meme made over in the Burnerverse, and it's like a 9-photo pan, and it's like his progression of when he realizes it was snowing at one of the games they just played at. And it was like me whenever, whatever happens. And I was like, this is so cute.
Jimmy says Browns for the win. The luck runs out this week for the Chiefs, and he says Myles Garrett going to go ham on Mahomes.
Yeah.
The next game, my Cincinnati Bengals at Dave's Tennessee Titans.
You barely clenched out a win against us Monday. Give me the Titans at home.
Going Titans at home,
I'm
okay?
going Titans at home.
Titans at home, coming off of a tough loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars, only putting up 6 points. I don't know that Tennessee is going to have enough offense to keep up with Cincinnati, although our defense is absolutely atrocious. I think Tony Pollard probably has a good game, so if you have him in your fantasy lineups, I would probably start Tony Pollard against the Bengals, but I'm still going to stick with my Bengals here. Jimmy says Bengals win in a blowout. Next game, Washington at New Orleans. I know who Jimmy's going here. He's going Jaden Daniels. Mo?
I've been very impressed with the Saints. I think that they do a lot of things right whenever they are all together.
Mind you, real quick, David Carr is banged up. David Carr is banged up. Spencer Rattler probably is going to be the starting quarterback.
Thank you.
Mix in a little Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
He's out for the season.
Oh, is he out? Oh, still.
Yeah, he's out for the season.
Changes my opinion just a little bit. I'm still going Saints at home. Maybe there won't be any murders.
You're going Saints at home, shorthanded?
Yeah.
Okay, Alvin Kamara game. I like that. I need the points from Alvin Kamara. Cobalt says Bengals win, even though Fano picked against my Chiefs. I'm not going with New Orleans. I don't know why I just scratched that because you just said it. I'm going with Washington. Big game for Washington here to keep pace in the playoff race and maybe position themselves. I feel like they're starting to get their groove back from all the injuries and the bang-ups. I'm going to stick with the Commanders here. Baltimore at the New York Giants. Big game for Baltimore here. Miami is creeping up. You've got Denver there. You've got Indianapolis creeping up. Ravens coming off a bye week as well. Who are we taking here?
Give me Derrick Henry all day, every day. Give me the purple and black Ravens.
Yeah, it's hard to go against Lamar here and the Giants. I mean, Drew Lock and that bunch, and their offense has not been really, really good there. I kind of feel bad for Malik Neighbors, but give me Baltimore coming off a bye week. Jimmy says, yes, sir, in terms of the Commanders. Cobalt says Commanders, not close. Jimmy says Ravens, Giants can't win at home. How about your Cowboys at the resurgent Carolina Panthers?
I don't even want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Don't even. I don't think either of them are fantastic. I don't think there's anything really to be said here. However, Aggies aren't playing anymore, so there's no one to offset them, and it doesn't matter anymore because all we have to do is win or lose a bowl game. Give me Carolina at home because we can barely win in AT&T Stadium.
Okay. I'm going to go Carolina as well. Tough break for Jonathan Brooks, the young rookie, tearing his ACL again, second time in a year.
Same thing with Dallas, Overshown.
Yeah, Overshown. Well, his was ACL, PCL, and MCL, I think. It was bad. But I think it's a Chuba Hubbard game. I like what Bryce Young has been doing recently. Give me Carolina at home. New York Jets at Jacksonville.
You go first. The lights are on, but I'm having a tough time.
I'm going to go New York Jets here. I feel like Breece Hall potentially comes back. Even if he doesn't, they've got a couple of running backs in Davis and Allen there. Garrett Wilson seems to be finding his stride. Devontae Adams finally looks healthy as well. Jacksonville's offense has just been absolutely awful. The only way they got a win last week was because it was the Titans.
I don't really know how I feel about the Jets just because I don't think Aaron Rodgers has been having his best game lately at all, period. But I also know that the Jaguars have not done anything substantial this season either. Give me the Jets.
Going Jags at home, okay.
No, I said Jets.
Oh, Jets, okay.
Jets. Sorry, they sound very similar when I talk low.
Cobalt says Giants in an upset, just kidding, Ravens. And then he says Panthers. Jimmy says Panthers win this close, high-scoring game. Cobalt says Cowboys are tanking for Genty. He's a big Boise State fan. Cobalt is.
Okay.
So he's all. So
he's a fan of that blue turf.
Eagles are going after Genty.
I don't know if they're going to be high enough to as a pick to get
I don't know, but they can make moves.
I feel like the Cowboys are going to be going for Rashad Genty. It makes the most sense.
Yes.
As far as the Heisman race goes, I feel like Genty should probably get it just because of his overall performance, but I understand why Travis Hunter will probably win it. Cobalt likes to call him Snaps just because of how many snaps he plays, and that's the reason he's going to win it. But at the same time, Shohei Ohtani, when he pitches and he hits, he's probably going to be your favorite for MVP every single season.
Probably.
So I get it.
Genty had a great game Friday whenever they played in their championship. He had a great game, and Boise State really brought everything to the table. I was expecting Boise to win, but I wasn't expecting just a pure freaking blowout. Then that's exactly what happened, and I was very happy for Boise State. Although I don't love the blue uniforms on blue turf, it kind of hurts my eyes.
I think if you're an opposing quarterback, that's got to be tough to pick up, right?
I think it's a field advantage. Me and my girlfriend were watching this game Friday, and we were talking about the same topic. Like, that has to be a field advantage to throw off the opposing quarterback because there were a couple of plays where the ball was either overthrown, underthrown, not put into playable hands.
Gotcha. All right, getting back to the NFL here. Miami at Houston. Miami in a must-win game. It's win or go home. Houston, obviously, still trying to fight off the Indianapolis Colts that are coming up behind them. Who are we taking here?
I'm conflicted here. I like CJ Stroud. I think he's just kind of adorable and I just think he's adorable. I think CJ Stroud is. Also, though, this is strictly narratives, by the way. Nothing about Ball because Ball doesn't lie. Mike McDaniel is just a personal favorite of mine. I think he's a great head coach. I think he has a lot of aura, and I like him a lot.
Is that because he vapes on the sidelines?
No, I like how he presents himself. He's not like your typical head coach of an NFL team. He shows up. He's got great shoe game knowledge. He's got his little joggers on that are very specific to the way they fit around his ankles. He's always in the same vibe, and I really just like Mike McDaniel who he is. He shows up to their practice facility with his little Starbucks and his Beamer, whatever. But actual ball terms, you know what? I'm going to go with give me Miami on the road.
All right, Miami stays alive, according to Mo. I'm going to go Houston here. I think this is a Joe Mixon game. Houston has to get Joe Mixon going again. He's been struggling here the last couple weeks. This is one of those games where if Mixon doesn't get going, then Miami can kind of tee off. But if Mixon does get going, then that just opens up the passing game for, Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz and that crew. Jimmy says, give me a tie for the Cowboys, or not the Cowboys, the Jets and Jacksonville. He says, give me a tie. Neither of these teams know how to win. Cobalt says, Houston taking this one. Jimmy says, Houston wins this. They have a winning record, and Miami can't beat a winning team.
Well, you know what? I'm just a little biased because I like their head coach. Sorry. But that's okay. I'm going to stick by my pick regardless.
Another sneaky good game. And I say sneaky good in terms of playoff implications. Indy at Denver.
What do you think? Because I don't see a lot of content about either of these games, or either of these teams. I'm sorry. I watch and I check their box score, to get recaps and see who's doing what. But I just don't know I don't know who really
AR or Bo Nix?
Yeah.
AR or Bo Nix? Where are you going?
Give me Bo Nix.
Bo Nix.
Give me Bo Nix.
I'm going to go Bo Nix at home as well.
Yes,
we only got a couple minutes here left. Let's run through these real quick. Sorry, Jimmy. Buffalo at Detroit.
Give me the Lions. Dan Campbell's Lions at home all day, every day, twice on Sunday.
I'm going to go Buffalo on the road. They need it more than Detroit does. Pittsburgh at Philadelphia.
Give me the Eagles. Cooper DeJean is not a safety.
Eagles win this one at home against the Pittsburgh, although I think it's a tough game. New England at Arizona.
Can we come back to that one?
We only got a couple minutes.
Okay. Give me Arizona at home.
I'm going to go New England on the road. Arizona's struggling. Tampa Bay at the Chargers.
Give me the Chargers.
Give me the Bucks all day there. Green Bay at Seattle.
Give me Green Bay on the road.
I'm going to take Seattle at home.
I love how we never agree sometimes, AG. It makes it's so funny to me because I know our minds are going two different directions.
Monday night, you have Chicago at Minnesota.
Ooh, give me the Vikings.
I'm going to take the Vikings as well at home. Atlanta at Las Vegas.
Give me the Falcons on the road.
Give me the Raiders.
Word up.
All right. Well, guys, we appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure you all stay tuned to ESPN Northwest Florida for all your sports highlights, as well as your wonderful games that we put on here in ultimate high def. Coach James Hale Show tomorrow between 7 and 9. For Mo and Caveman, I'm AG. You all have a fantastic Wednesday.
And always gig 'em.
Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
We're up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In-depth storm coverage.
Hurricane